Fiverr collab.
Fiverr's collab.
Fiverr collab.
From Fiverr collab.
Fiverr collab.
Hello Fiverr collab. My name is Cole and today I'll be telling you a scary story. This story is called Honey Run Road and it's about a road in my dad's hometown in Paradise, California. It's a very small road on the side of a cliff and there's town 10 miles one direction, 10 miles the other direction. If you're on this road, you're alone. And it's one lane. If you're going and there's a car on the other side, you're screwed. So basically, this story set like 30 years ago. A couple was driving home after prom, and the boyfriend was driving the girlfriend home, and they were prom king and queen. It was the most amazing night of their life, and she was going to be late for curfew, so she had to take a shortcut to get to her house, or they would be in trouble. The only way to get to her house was to take Honey Run Road, and it was very dangerous. No one took it because you don't know what would happen. But the only way to get there was to take Honey Run Road. So it's a cold, rainy night, and they're driving down, and she's freaking out like we shouldn't be on this road. We shouldn't be on this road. And the boyfriend's reassuring her, everything's gonna be okay. I promise. I'm here. Don't worry. And she's like, okay, I trust you. So then they're driving down, and they get halfway through the road where the town's just miles back the other direction, or the next one is 10 miles ahead. So they go, and then all of a sudden they just skid to a stop, and they freak out. What just happened? And the boyfriend gets out of the car and checks, and all the tires were slashed, and they don't know how that happened. They look back, nothing's in the road to mess up the tires, and they're just, what happened? So the boyfriend was like, no, I have to go get help. Then they didn't have cell phones at this time. So the boyfriend was like, I have to go get help for you. You stay in the car. And she didn't want to stay in the car because she was scared. It was lonely, and she didn't want to be left alone. He's like, no, you're in a dress, your heels, like nothing. No, I'll take care of you. You stay in the car. I'll be back. Everything's okay. So she said, okay, and she's staying in the car, and she's crying, missing him already, and she watches him in the headlights walk into the distance, and then he disappears into the night. And she's alone and crying and scared, and then the lights shut off in the car. The engine died, and then soon after the lights turned off, she's sitting there crying in the car alone, and then she hears a slam on the hood, and she can't see in front of her because it's nighttime and she doesn't even know what's out there, and so she panics. She's freaking out, and so she just goes down and hides her eyes and is crying, saying, please go away. And the slams go closer on the other side of the car. The slams are at the driver's side window. And there's scratches on the ceiling. There's scratches on the hood of the car. And then the slamming goes around to the back. And it gets louder and louder and louder. And then they come to the right side of the car. Closer to her window. Closer. Closer. And then right when it gets to her window, it stops. And she's freaking out. She's never been more terrified in her life. And she builds up the courage to look and see what's out there. And she looks up and she looks at the window and nothing's there. And she's freaking out, so scared, and she just starts crying and crying. And then she falls asleep. She wakes up to scratches on the ceiling again. This time they're louder. She's freaking out, doesn't know what happened, and then there's a knock on the window, and a flashlight turns on. And she doesn't want to, she's screaming, please go away, don't hurt me, and then he says, there's a voice that says, ma'am, this is the police, please get out of the car, please unlock the car. So she hears that the police are there, and she's okay, God, yes, my boyfriend came, and he got help for us. So she opens the door, the police officer looks at her with a terrified look and says, ma'am, how long have you been here? She said, I don't know, I've been here all night. He's like, okay, whatever you do, I'm about to put you in my car, whatever you do, please do not look back at your car. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, ma'am, don't ask questions, please, just whatever you do, don't look back at your car, you do not want to see this, just don't do it. And she doesn't know what's about to happen, and so she's like, okay, so she's walking, she gets out of the car, and the cop puts a jacket around her, and she's walking to her car, and then she looks back at the car, and then all of a sudden, thank you.